Friday Night Lights means it's time for the final score. Your home for hard hits, big plays, and the Basin's #1 football show. The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, high school football week 8, and tonight, if you can't tell, a great show ahead of you here on the best show in the Basin. Final score back again. We saw some of the best plays from last week.
I know,
hopefully,
that gets me so hyped up each week.
Hopefully we have another great night tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, we always have an exciting contest for our game of the week, and that was certainly the case last year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. Not only week 8 last year, but Fort Stockton, Monaghan's, a bit of a coronation, if you will, at Panther Stadium. And once again, these two teams featured in our game of the week. We'll flash it back to last year. Nick Johnson, he was the homecoming king. This game went to overtime. In overtime, Nick Johnson taking it in for the touchdown. And that would have proved to be the game winner, 14-7, Fort Stockton in that one. And now we go to see how this one would unfold at Monaghan's this time. Monaghan's 2-1 in district, despite being 2-5 on the year. Fort Stockton 5-1, 1-1 in district. First play of the game, Dominic Aguilar throws an ill-advised pass. It's Dominic on Dominic crime. Paredes takes it back. No Panthers are going to get to him. Lobos go up 6-0 after a missed PAT. Then Monaghan's gets it back on the screen. Lewis Wesley, I'm going to need some help, guys. You go there and take him, and I'm going to go in for the touchdown. Lots of space for him there. 13-0 Monaghan's. It's all Lobos, right, Aaron? Well, Fort Stockton, not going to go away. Dominic Aguilar, one-time athlete of the week, quarterback sneak. Rest would think about it for a little bit, but they would give him the touchdown. Fort Stockton on the board. Later on, they're going to try some trickeration, as we like to say, Aaron, but not going to prove to be a good decision. By the way, great interception by Leonard Davis. He's going to go all the way down, not quite into the end zone, to the 1-yard line. Keep that play in mind, because that's a big deal. Just over a minute left in the half. Monaghan's is going to try to punch it in, get the touchdown instead of settle for the field goal, but the defense comes up huge to keep it a 1-score game. And speaking of coming up huge, Fort Stockton down 13-0 to start it off, but rallying back 26 unanswered points to get the win, 26-13. Our Game of the Week reporter Jake Ike said he was there for the whole thing. Oh my goodness, Jake, he's got a happy head coach.
The Final Score Sports Desk, brought to you by Stanley Ford.
Ben, Aaron, welcome to Essex Memorial Stadium. A 26-13 win for Fort Stockton over Monaghan tonight. I'm talking to Coach Mike Piers. Coach, there's a lot of turnovers in the first half, but you guys stayed consistent and stayed focused. How did you guys do that?
You know, I think a lot of it came down to, we didn't play very well. I think we were a little bit, Monaghan's is a tradition-heavy. They're a big rival of ours. We struggle with them year in, year out, and I think we kind of played out of focus. So turning the ball over, but defensively being able to stay in there and only be down 6 points was huge for us.
Talking about only being down 6 points because of your defense, that huge goal line. How much did that momentum mean?
That was everything. I think that, when we got that stop, I looked at my defensive coordinator and said, we're going to win the game. it was everything. If they go up 2 scores there, I don't think we can catch them. It was tremendous effort. We ran the kid down all the way down to the 1 yard line. We had a kid get on via the out, all the way across the field, caught him, and then of course we stopped him on 3 straight downs. So that was the turning point of the ball game for us.
I didn't count how many times you guys ran the ball this game. It was a lot, folks. I can promise you that. Talk to me a little bit about, I guess in that last possession you really saw it. You took the life out of Monaghan's. It was like a 6-7 minute drive. Talk to me a little about your philosophy.
Well, the thing about that, we quit throwing it because we kept throwing it to them. So that was part of the philosophy. We weren't very effective with it. So, but just getting physical with our run game and trying to get first downs. We preached that all week long, just being physical. And if once we got the game tied, I knew if we could get one more possession, we'd have a chance to win and leave them limited time because they've got a lot of offensive weapons on the team.
Coach Piers, you guys had a really good win tonight, but you got a real tough task, Greenwood, next week. I've seen them; they look good. What are you going to take away from this game into next week?
We'll start with Greenwood in the morning. We got a really good ball club, tough kids. Greenwood is by far one of the better teams in all of the region. And so there's nothing that I can say that's going to be take them lightly. But I'll tell you this: that our kids will be ready to play next week.
Coach Piers, thank you so much for your time. We will appreciate you. Thanks for having us out here again. Have a safe drive home. Guys, a 26-13 win for Fort Stockton over Monaghan's. It was really a tale of 2 halves. They started slow, came back, finished very strong. Ben, Aaron, take it away.
All right, thank you, Jake. Coach Piers just peacing out of that
Coach Piers
interview.
on his way to Disney World after that big win. My goodness.
Speaking of Greenwood, by the way, they hosted Snyder tonight. Snyder got their first win of the season a couple weeks ago against Fort Stockton. So let's take a look at how this game was going. Rangers with an early lead in the second quarter. Weston Wilbur with the ball for the Rangers here. He's going to heave this one way up, and Brody Ray going to come down with it. Cruises into the end zone, so Greenwood goes up 20-0. They went for 2, didn't get it. Still have a pretty big lead, though. They get the ball back, though, later in the quarter. Ray makes the catch, but he fumbles it, and Snyder jumps on it. So the Tigers are going to get the ball back. And then guess what they do? They fumble it, too.
Well, there you go.
Very next play. So Greenwood gets the ball back once again. This time they march down the field. Jaden Kitchens there with the handoff and the touchdown. Rangers go up 27-0 with a little less than 7 in the half left. So, they ran away with this one a little bit, but wouldn't score too much there. 41-0, your final here over in Greenwood.
Man, Jaden Kitchen running right into yours. Kitchens. Pecos, they were on the road taking on Sweetwater at the Mustang Bowl. First quarter, Pecos, Abel Velasquez runs it past the Mustangs for a touchdown. That puts the Eagles in the lead, 14-7. Sweetwater, though, the answer, 61 yards. Leo Holsley to Darian Carr. That is going to tie the game with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Jump ahead, 4 seconds left in the half. Eli Sandoval pass to Abel Velasquez, he's going to run it in just as the clock expires. A nice touchdown for the Eagles to put them up 40-21 at the half. And this game, folks, from what we can tell, currently suspended in the third quarter, 54-42 Pecos. So we're going to keep an eye on this game for you and let you know how it shakes out. But that's the most up-to-date score we have. And with that in mind, we're going to take a look at the most up-to-date standings. Greenwood 4-0, the only undefeated team in the district. In fact, I think they've already clinched the playoff berth with the win tonight. Fort Stockton moves ahead of ahead of Monaghan's with a crucial win. They're 2-1. Monaghan's 2-2. Sweetwater, for the moment, holding on to that last playoff spot. Although it looks like Pecos going to join Monaghan's at 2-2 should that score hold.
Yep. Nice look at the standings. Well, first quarter is in the books, folks. And next, we're going to take a look at Class 6A. A lot of exciting action in that district, including a showdown between Odessa High and Midland. Lee, the best show in the Basin, is back in 2 minutes.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
And back on The Final Score, switching our focus to that vaunted District 2 6A. Once again, we've got our helmets back in order of the stand.
Powell, Matt Jones, Landon Peterson, then King Doru from Tascosa.
Man, he's been balling out
as well, just to name a few of those really talented players from last season.
King Doru having himself a year over at Purdue. This season, many other players, of course, with similar aspirations. And I'm thinking there's at least one receiver that is, I can't remember, I think he puts this helmet on every night, but I'm not sure. I think he fits the bill.
I would say so. Of course, Ben here is talking about Loic Fungi, the 6'4" senior.
That's the
had a record-breaking performance in several different ways last week against Friendship. He had 11 receptions. That's a school record. 228 receiving yards, breaking his own school record from last year.
Tell me more.
And then finally, 3 touchdowns. That ties the school record as well. Told Coach he didn't want to go for it. He just wanted the team to succeed. What a guy. What a guy. But SMU and USC.
It's pretty funny. I didn't find out until after the game, but it feels pretty good because it shows I'm improving from each year, from the past year, so something good.
At the end of the game, we were going to throw him the 4th touchdown pass, and I said, "You want to throw your touchdown pass and break the touchdown catches in a game record?" He goes, "I don't care about records. Because I care about the team." That's why he's such a great kid.
Hartman told us several times on Tuesday that Loic could marry his daughter. So
there you go.
Pretty high praise from Coach there. All right, we got Odessa High visiting the Rebels this evening. Midland Lee still undefeated, and the Rebels are up 34-0 going into the second half. Rebels with the ball here. Mikey Serrano throws a dagger to Christian Romero. He's going to take this one down the sideline there. Easy, breezy, beautiful.
You know, they have so many good wide receivers. We don't even get to talk about these kind of kids.
Yeah, so 41-0 Midland Lee after that one. Still in the third, Rebels with the ball again. This time, Serrano's going to hit Shamar Davis.
Yes.
And he's going to get the touchdown this time. 47-0 Midland Lee. All Rebels here in this game. Broncos with the ball with about 3.5 left. Damian Garcia picks it off for Lee, and he is gone.
Goodness. Rebels bearing down tonight,
Taking this one to the house. 54-0. After that, I might have to remember that for Sunday.
I might.
But, you know, Odessa High did get on the board, 62-7 there.
They did. Credit to the Broncos.
So Odessa High falls to 0-2 in district play. Midland Lee 2-0.
There we go. And 2 1-0 teams, so one of these is going to have to fall to 1-1. Permian, Tascosa. Permian winning its last 3 games. Tascosa 5-1 on the year coming into it. Opening drive of the game. You know what the Rebels do, Aaron? They just churn and keep on churning and keep on churning. Parker Settle, he's going to cap it off with a touchdown. Their extra point went right off the upright, so it was 6-0 Rebels at that point. Tascosa Rebels. Permian responding quickly. Malachi Medlock right up the middle for the answer. They take a 7-6 lead after Permian made their extra point. Then later on in the first, now it's 14-6 Permian. And Joseph Plunk, the coach's kid, Aaron, I've said it throughout the show. You gotta love a quarterback that has turf tape on the elbows. He is not afraid to take some hits, to go to the turf. He doesn't do it this time, though. 75 yards to pull Tascosa back within 1, but Easton Hernandez, he's back, folks. Second game returning from an injury. Runs it in for the touchdown, 21-13 at that point. By the way, we said it earlier, too. That was the highest scoring first quarter between these two teams that we could find since at least 2005. Probably have to go back many years before that, if ever. 35-27, though, ultimately the final in this one.
At Midland High, up, and they've just been on the road so much lately, taking on Friendship.
Almost 3,000 miles.
Over in Wolford, there was homecoming for Friendship, who were looking to even their record in District 2-6A tonight. And, you know, they start off quite nicely. Texas Tech head coach Matt Wells and offensive coordinator David Yost on hand for tonight. Love to see it. Cage Jones Field goal is all the scoring in the first quarter for either team. One of the reasons Friendship gets a big block of a Bulldogs field goal. Here we are at the start of the second quarter. William Bayouth with a short touchdown run to make it 10-0 Tigers. Defense and special teams came to play after a great punt. They pinned the Bulldogs, and the Tigers hold them to 3 and out. A safety would make it 12-0 Friendship. Oof. Tigers come right back. Donovan Smith. He
Coach's kid.
Jordan Maiden for the 50-yard touchdown pass.
I think it's Madden. I think it's Madden.
Sorry, Jordan. To make it 19-0, 26-0 at the half. Friendship was rolling.
My goodness. I'm not sure if he's on the cover, Madden, but yeah, he's looking good there.
Yes. sorry, Jordan. Friendship gets the win here, though, 33-0, so they even up their district standings.
And, well, speaking of, we're going to take a look at those standings for 6A. And, of course, top 4 teams making it into the playoffs. You know that. Midland Lee and Permian, each of them 2-0. Friendship, Tascosa, 1-1. Odessa High and Midland High, 0-2. So it's going to be tough for Odessa High, Midland High. They're going to need to get an upset at some point to kind of try to sneak their way in. But, again, still very early in that 6A district. All right, now some 3A Division II matchups. Coahoma, 5-1 on the year, 1-0 in district. You see there, Abernathy, they're same record, but they're number 6 in the statewide rankings. You wondered why, Aaron? Well, because they've got some playmakers. You know, one of them, this kid, Bryson Daly, 4-year starting quarterback, and oh my goodness, this time he's got it all. He's got the arm, that one for the touchdown there, 7-0. Then later on, he's going to just run it in himself. Doesn't need the help, 14-0. The Maroon Platoon, as they like to call it, especially that defense, Coahoma going for it on 4th down, but Zach Schneider gets stuffed right here. Lopes would take over, and then Daly, he's going to find Nick Deonda for the deep pass, 1st down. They've been doing it for a while to a lot of teams. Coahoma not alone as they suffer a setback here, 42-0. I would say much more impressive win for Abernathy than it is a bad loss for Coahoma, but man, that's just, by the way, that's one of those teams that Crane, if they were to make a postseason run, they would have to go through as well. So Crane fans, take note.
All right, keeping it rolling with 3A here. Roosevelt visiting Stanton. The Buffs looking for their first district win of the season.
And here we go.
Into the first quarter. Roosevelt's going to get on the board first.
Nicely done. Eagles got some playmakers.
7-0, and then Coahoma's going to respond, though. Stanton, excuse me. I'm still lost in the last highlight. Stanton looking to respond. Austin Cutie weaseling his way around some defenders. They even it up at 7. Into the second now. Stanton with the ball again, and the Buffs muscle their way into the end zone for another touchdown, so they take a 13-7 lead. But then this is just a back-and-forth game. Roosevelt's turn would be next in the same quarter. Kenyon Taylor going to take the handoff here, runs down the sideline, and that,
oh my goodness,
he's gone. Another touchdown, and they do get their extra point, so they take a 14-13 lead. A close game here between Roosevelt and Stanton, but the Eagles pull away, 29-13, the final.
Stanton, though, still largely, from what I remember, a very young team, so they will have that going for them. For Sand, now they had, I believe they had their district opener off, their district opener week off, so they're starting their district play at Ozona, taking on the Lions. And here, my goodness, those are some big flags. First quarter, Forsan forced a punt, and Jose Dominguez is going to get on the return for the Lions. Sees a path, gets a block, and he's going to take this. Where's it going? To the house. But you know what? I saw, did you see that there in the frame? There's a flag coming on back. So go ahead and move that locomotive back there. Ozona would get the score later on. Screen pass down the sideline. Zachary Talamance just engaged. He's gone 7-0. Ozona forcing, though, trying to get something going offensively. Major Stockton, a major factor this year, takes the handoff, gets the 1st down and more, but the Lions would hold and not allow a score on that drive. Take a look at this. Oh, my goodness. Forsan within a touchdown of the Lions of Ozona, 31-24. Ozona gets the win, but Ozona, a very good team. That's a nice showing for the Buffaloes, yeah. I would have to say.
We're struggling a little bit with the names tonight, Ben.
Yeah, we've got some tough names on these sheets.
We've got Garden City visiting Water Valley for an exciting 6-man matchup.
Here we go. Buckle up.
Over at Wildcat Stadium. Here's the first play from the scrimmage. Garden City's Cirildo takes the pitch. He turns on the Jets. He is in for the touchdown, 8-0 Garden City. Next Water Valley possession, 4th and goal. Gabriel Smith throws it up. It's tipped by the Bearcats, and it goes right into the hands of Josiah Padilla for the touchdown, 8-6 Bearcats. First play of Garden City's next possession. John Michael Allegria taking it to the house, but there's a flag on the field, a holding call, makes it 1st and 24, but it won't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Holding call won't matter. Next play, here's Cirildo again, taking it to the house. Garden City leads 16-8. Taking a look at the final here, Bearcats get a nice victory over the Wildcats, 58-12, with the Garden City win.
Doing the math, I think that's a 45 victory there. Coyotes, I know this math, 53-0 win over Sands. Sands came in with an 11-game losing streak. But Borden County, though, number 2 team in the state for Division I, 6-man. Big win for the Coyotes.
I can absolutely do the math on that one, so they did 45.
Yes, I think so.
I can attest to that. All right. Lorraine on the road visiting Klondike, and it looks like the Cougars will do the same thing.
What would you do?
58 to... What would you do for...
Mercy Rule win. There we go. Klondike, baby.
58-12, your final. Cougars get the win.
I am too much. Okay. O'Donnell at home taking on the Grady Wildcats. And O'Donnell, both of these teams came in 2-4. O'Donnell 0-1 in district. Grady coming up short in another Mercy Rule win, 52-6 for the Eagles.
Exciting matchup over in Rankin. The Red Devils hosting Nueces Canyon. And look at this final. Red Devils get a 68-14 win over a solid Nueces Canyon team.
Yeah, both those teams came in 5-1 of the year. Rankin ranked number 10 in the state. Marfa on the road taking on Fort Hancock. Fort Hancock gets its first victory of the year over the Shorthorns, 38-13. They are playing independent ball at this point. And some Thursday night action. We had number 2, Grand Falls Royalty. Their only loss to Balmorhea, taking on Looters of Voca, 65-20. Cowboys get the win. By the way, this was a Thursday night game, and that's nice and easy math. A 45-point win. Mercy Rule, Aaron.
Look at this. Sanderson also getting in the victory column. A nice win over Sierra Blanca, 54-8. Eagles win.
Absolutely.
All right. We got some more highlights for you here. Some more 6-man football, though. Lubbock Titans visiting Trinity over in Midland tonight.
They played in Week 3. Midland Trinity won in Week 3, 38-22. So a rematch.
Yeah. Chargers with a nice lead here in the second quarter. Kyle Allworth with the ball, breaks some tackles. That'll put Trinity up 34-0 in the second quarter. Later on in the same quarter, the Chargers with the ball again. This time, quarterback Renfro takes the snap. He's going to hit Max Henderson, who muscles his way into the end zone. Touchdown Trinity, 42-0 now. So Chargers starting to run away with this one. And they finish with a 48-0 final.
Drumming up a win.
Midland Trinity.
Right there. Midland Trinity back in 6-man. And honestly, Aaron, I just speaking for myself, love to see it. I love, you love to see those kids that really having a lot of success there after some tough years in 11-man. Midland Christian, some taps action. We'll stay with it on the road against Argyle Liberty. Now, these teams 4-3. Midland Christian coming into this. Argyle Liberty was 2-5. The Warriors gave the Mustangs their first loss of the year last year, remember, at this point. But Mustangs get that revenge on the road, 49-20 the final.
2-0 in districts for the Mustangs. We're still rolling here on the final score. Coming up, the best highlight of the night, play of the week, is next.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
You know, Aaron, some people were just born to do the things they do in life. And for me, playing high school football, well, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't one of my strong suits. But, I like to think I have other areas.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're really surprised by that.
And I was more of musically inclined, as we know.
Plenty of athletes who do thrive in that area with that. It's time for our final score.
Say I don't.
Play of the week. Take it away, Ben.
Okay, well, apparently I'm going to stay in my lane and just talk about the players.
Yeah.
Lewis, this isn't Lewis and Clark, this is Lewis and Wesley. In fact, Lewis Wesley, Monaghan's at home, game of the week, Fort Stockton, takes the screen pass and not only goes the distance, but take a look, just gets the space, and then, it's one thing to get a big gain here, but to take it for a touchdown takes a little teamwork, a little coordination, and a little direction.
Nice little hurdle there.
See, he says, I'm going to head east here for a little bit, then go on that fork. And there he goes. Lewis Wesley taking it in for the touchdown, our play of the week. Monaghan's comes up short in the game, but Lobos, they do take home the hardware there with our play of the week.
Yep. All right, our last commercial break is coming up. When we come back, we're going to bring you our final thoughts,
including that game of the week comeback for the Panthers. Fort Stockton getting the big win.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
And thank you so much again for sticking with us. Week 8 of the high school football season. You know, Aaron, we don't know what in the world is going on in Sweetwater. We didn't have any inclement weather here, but apparently this game, we told you earlier, suspended last week until. That is still the case for Pecos and Sweetwater. Yep. Eagles 5-4, 54-42 in the third quarter. They would improve to 2-2 in district should they get a win in that game. So that is the last update we have for you there.
We'll try to keep y'all updated on that game on our social media as well.
Yes, and our website, yourbasin.com.
Well, moving on, high school football, you did it again.
I did another one.
Another night full of surprises, some awesome plays, and some crazy comebacks.
Yeah, and one of those, of course, we had a close eye on our final score game of the week. Yet again, dare I say, maybe not quite as instant classic as last year, but a great contest this evening.
Yeah, super exciting. Fort Stockton scoring 26 unanswered points to beat Monaghan tonight. Our game of the week reporter Jake Eichstead was there to take it all in. Let's hear his final thoughts.
The Final Score Sports Desk, brought to you by Stanley Ford.
Hey, Ben, Aaron, welcome back to SS Memorial Stadium. You can see behind me Monaghan's crowd anything but down, and they really should have their heads held high. They had a really strong fight tonight against the Panthers of Fort Stockton. It was a really slow start by Fort Stockton, to be honest with you, to start. Down early, they had a pick six pretty much just when I got here. It was one of the first plays that I saw. And then a really long touchdown pass to Lewis Wesley for Monaghan, put them down 14-0 pretty early. And then after a touchdown scored by Fort Stockton, probably the biggest play of the game, or the biggest stand of the game, was a goal line stand just before halftime to keep it a one-score game. Really kept Fort Stockton in it in terms of just momentum and fight. You could really see it as they were going into halftime, into the locker room. They were really fired up. Fort Stockton really has a strong ground game. Their defense is, very solid as well, but they ran the ball almost every play. You heard Coach laugh about it. They called so many run plays because of the fact they were completing so many passes to the other team. But they will bruise you. They will run it down your throat. That is their philosophy, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do to Greenwood next week. The Rangers, who are still undefeated, that's going to be a big-time game for Fort Stockton. Ben, Aaron, those are my thoughts. See you in the studio.
Thanks, Jake.
We will see you. Aaron, I know we're kind of on the same wavelength that we're going to talk about a little later, but I know another team stood out to you that's really making some strides this year.
Yes, a team that didn't get a win tonight, but I think their performance was still very impressive. Fort Stan on the road to visit Azona, and they didn't lose by that much. I'm just so impressed with the Buffs in general this year. 3-4 so far on the season.
1-9 last year.
0-1 in district, but they played really well with Azona tonight, so I was impressed by their performance. Ben, what are you thinking?
Permian 2-0, and Aaron, this is what I was alluding to. We both agree. Permian, a force to be reckoned with once again. I think especially with this guy, Easton Hernandez, second game back. And listen, I think Harper Terry, the crew that they had, they were playing well in his place, but I don't know what it is, but they seem to have been revitalized these last 2 weeks, looking really good. Permian now 2-0 atop the district standings, along with Midland Lee. So we shall see how the season wraps up. Only 3 weeks left in the regular season. We'll be back next Friday night. For Aaron Reynolds, I'm Ben Peck. Thank you so much for joining us. If you missed any of the show, go to our website, yourbasin.com. We'll see you next Friday.